most of you have been taught, if you've been taught anything about the law of attraction at all, that you have to be a certain vibrational frequency to attract certain things that are representative of that vibration. And that is not incorrect, but it is an incomplete definition. It is an incomplete understanding. This is how the law of attraction actually works. Okay. You understand that you have already a core natural vibration that represents the unique you that you are, yes?
Yeah.
That core frequency beams from you all the time, just like a lighthouse beacon. You can't help it. You're always radiating that core vibration that represents the true natural you. Everything that is in alignment and is reflective of that core vibration is doing its best to get to you. Everything that is not representative of that core true vibration is doing its best to get as far away from you as it possibly can. The things that are out of alignment with your true vibration that seem to still stick around is not because you're not attracting what is in alignment. It's because you're not letting go of what is out of alignment. Everything that is attempting to get to you that is in alignment, if it's not coming to you, it's not because you're not attracting it, it's because you're keeping it at bay with your beliefs. So the idea of the law of attraction is not that you have to learn how to attract. It's not that you have to necessarily be the vibration of that thing in order to attract it precisely, though there is some truth to that. But more fundamentally, the idea is just stop keeping away the things that are trying to get to you that are representative of your true vibration, and stop holding on to the things that are not representative of it. That said, the law of attraction is really all about just letting go and letting in.
If you follow the flow, your needs will always manifest if they are relevant for who you truly are. There is nothing you need to do beyond that. The current of creation, your current in creation, already knows where you need to go. Surrender is not surrendering control. Surrendering is surrendering to the control that's already built into you. That's why you go with the flow. The current already knows where you need to go. You don't need to make things happen. Making things happen, believing that you need to make things happen, is resistance to the current. Everything that's relevant for you is already contained within the current's energy. Just go with the flow. Your life will unfold naturally. You will respond to it in a positive way. Synchronicity will abound. Everything that needs to happen in your life that's relevant for you to experience will happen in perfect timing. That's all there is to it. You don't need to make it work. The machine works. Let it work. Let it work. Don't stop it by thinking you know better what should happen here. No, you don't.
If you're really passionate about something and passionate about being that passionate, you will do what it takes. You will allow yourself to be completely submerged and obsessed with the very idea of creating the state itself that is representative of the reality you prefer. Now, you don't have to do this. It's up to you. But what we are saying here now, and what we will be repeating throughout this particular transmission, is the recognition that whatever stage, whatever level of frequency, whatever level of commitment, whatever level of drive, whatever level of hunger you decide you choose to have for being passionate is completely what will determine the level of reflection you get, the level of effect you get. So if you say to yourself, I don't have to listen to that again. I already know it. Still not working for me. I'm still not happy. Still not getting the reality vibration. Still not creating the state of being I want. But I don't have to listen to that again. Then that's the state you will remain in. Remember a time when you became passionate about something, anything. You couldn't get enough of it. Every day, every waking thought, you ate it, you drank it, you breathed it in. You looked for anything that had to do with that thing, to learn more, to feel more, to absorb more, to immerse yourself, surround yourself more with that idea. The idea is that in and of itself, that activity in and of itself of immersing yourself in a passionate state is paramount, is very important to the generation of attracting all the things that are then representative of that passion. So if you're not going to be passionate about being passionate, you are going to remove for yourself a very strong stepping stone, a very strong connective link to attracting the things themselves that are representative of your passion. Now we understand, and we know you understand, that even with this knowledge, there will still be portions of your mind, portions of your physical mind going, oh no, that's just too much. So be it. That's your choice. But we are here to tell you that everything you need to know and everything you have learned from us is being restated in this work, and you have it available to you. Take advantage of it. Immerse yourself. And again, please remember how important it is for many of you to act things out. We know, it's no secret to us, that when we have often suggested to many of you that the way to allow yourself greater opportunity for manifestation, greater ability for manifestation, is to actually go and physically act out the scenario that represents your highest joy. And we know, as we said, it's no secret to us that most of you simply don't. Why not? That's the question. That's the true, honest self-assessment that really needs to be investigated. Why not? Because what that simply means is you're not really that passionate about creating that reality. It's not really that important to you. You're not really consumed by it. You're not really obsessed by it. You're not really immersed by it. Why not? That's the question. Why not? That is the most important question you can ask yourself with regard to what you say is your passion. Why am I not more passionate about my passion? Why am I not willing to do the things that everyone says will work? Why not? And that's where you need to come face to face with your own identity, your own physical mind, your own belief systems, your own definitions, your own issues about what it is that you are allowing to define you. And you do get a picture in your imagination of who you prefer to be, what you prefer to be doing, where you prefer to be doing it, how you prefer to be doing it. When you see that, all you really have to do is mimic it, mirror it, act it out as best as you can on all levels of your life. All you have to do is be like that person in your mind's eye. Do things the way he or she would do it. And then when you start doing things the way he or she would do it, you will change your vibration to the vibration that is representative of that life. And when you shift your vibration to the representation of that life, you will start to synchronistically have that life. All the things that are representative of what that you would have will come in. So that's how to use your imagination as an actual tool. Because remember, when we talk about manifesting, you're not actually talking about bringing something to you that isn't already here. Things already exist here and now. You don't have to actually reach out to some endless dimension. Somehow bring it into manifestation in physical reality. It's already in existence. It's already here because there is only here. There is only now. Look at your watches. Anytime you decide what time it is always now, isn't it? Yes, that's the only time it is. All your watches should simply say now, 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 now. That's the only time it really is ever. You never say, oh, I think it's then. No, it's now. What time is it? It's now. So there is only now, and things can manifest only in the now. What you call from your linear space-time illusionary perspective, what you call different moments are actually the same moment from a different point of view. It's the same moment. So everything is here, everything is now, and manifestation is just about allowing you to be the vibration, the proper frequency that will allow you to see that part of the now that was heretofore invisible to you. It's as simple as that.
We have this concept called karma. And
Yes.
So what is karma exactly?
Good question. Shall I answer?
Please.
Thank you. Number one, karma is completely self-imposed. Number two, karma and the concept of reincarnation is again an illusion. It is simultaneous incarnations in parallel realities. Thus, any concept of anything that connects one life to another, such as the concept you call karma, or, if you wish, energy balancing, is simply the product of the idea of, from the present life, you decided to create energetic cross-connections, cross-links to other simultaneously existing parallel realities, because for some reason, based on the theme that you chose to explore in this life, you believe that cross-connecting energetically to those other simultaneous lives and downloading information from them, what you call memories, would serve you in the exploration of the particular theme of this life, just as those other lives are also cross-connecting to you and other lives to download information that they need to explore the themes they chose to explore by being those people in those lives that exist simultaneously with you. So karma is your decision to create a blueprint, in a sense, of connection to other life experiences going on at the same time that you believe are designed to serve the theme of the challenges you wish to explore in this life to allow you to grow as a soul and a spirit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that answer the question sufficiently?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bashar.
Bashar,
And good day to you.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I want to start by thanking you for all you have done and are doing.
All right, well, we thank you also for the co-creation of these interactions. Speak up.
I want to say how much of a great change my life has been because of learning information that you've passed on. I have two questions.
Yes.
One before I start, I understand if you're not able to answer it. And I want to, before I ask the question, I wanted to be clear that as a result of the experience, I've completely grown and changed.
All right, well, thank you for choosing to do that. Because no matter how much information we share with all of you, none of you have to take it to heart. It's up to you to decide what to incorporate within your being, and therefore any change going on is something that you have done. We are happy to provide an opportunity, but you have to make the choice to actually absorb that information, and the change happens because of you, not because of us.
You're amazing, and thank you again.
All right, if you say so.
My experience involves the energy project I was working on back in 2011.
Yes.
I thought that I would involve a friend of mine who's involved in Dr. Stephen Greer's group.
Yes.
So that I could have more people, and when it was completed, I would give it to them, and it would be a way to bring it out to the world.
Oh, all right. And?
Once I put myself on the map with being involved with that team on some incredibly hardcore, you could say, things started happening in the dream state, in the subconscious state.
Guys.
There were these two, I call them the two. They used to come in all the time and do incredibly gruesome, terrible things.
Such as?
I'd rather not go into detail.
Oh, all right.
They're just too terrible.
If you say so.
Worst motion picture movie stuff that you've ever seen,
Yet many people on your planet love going to horror movies.
It's terrible stuff. Maybe when I was a kid, but now I have a different respect.
Oh, all right.
Subconscious.
Very exciting.
Yeah. I learned that there was always a magnetic field associated with when they would come in.
Yes,
I
is
learned
there a question here?
The question is, do those two originate? Did they originate from some form of technology on this planet? Were they two people sitting behind some desk somewhere?
No.
Or was this coming from who? What is the
It
origination
comes
of
from
those
another
two?
dimensional realm that you yourself are in touch with. And in a sense, they are giving you an opportunity to face all the different negative belief systems that are going on within your personality structure so that you can transform them and integrate them in a positive way. Understand that no matter what anyone else's intention is toward you, you always, all of you, have the opportunity to decide that only a positive effect will result for you in your life regarding any experience, because your physical reality is only the product of how you define it. And if you define it in a positive way, you'll only get a positive experience from it, no matter whether someone else has a negative intention toward you or not. That's how it works. That's physics. So get in touch with the fears that they bring up within you so that you can allow yourself to define the definitions that are causing those fears, because all emotion comes from something you believe to be true first. You can't have a feeling without defining something to be true first. Therefore, if you have a feeling of fear, it means you have a definition that is causing the fear. Find out what it is, identify it, and let it go. And then you will find that these experiences can turn around for you in a very positive and constructive way and allow you to become more self-empowered if you use it that way, all right?
Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
So my extensive time travel hasn't been much, but I would say...
As we said, you are all time traveling all the time. That's what creates the effect called time. So you're all time travelers, whether you know it or not. That's the way you create your physical reality experience.
Gotcha. Maybe I phrased that wrong. The time traveling that I've noticed the most is when I've smoked dimethyltryptamine.
Yes.
Can you speak about how dimethyltryptamine...
And dimethyltryptamine is produced by the pineal gland naturally in your brain and is responsible for your ability to actually perceive other dimensions more clearly. This is why the idea of the dream dimension activates more DMT in your pineal gland when you are sleeping. And those active times of the production of that substance in your brain is generally between what you call your 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. hour. Thus then, most of the interdimensional dreams will occur at that time because you are perceiving into other realities more clearly. Now, of course, you can learn to enhance this in a variety of ways, be it the utilization of the substance itself or the idea of meditation or a variety of other techniques, tools, and rituals, which we simply call permission slips. Because all tools, techniques, and rituals and objects are simply permission slips that allow you to give yourself permission to be more of who you are. Once you use a teacher, once you use a guide or a substance to allow you to understand the frequency state, the state of being that is represented by that substance, then in a sense, you actually no longer need the substance because you can simply generate that frequency state, and in acting from that frequency state can have a life that is more representative of that particular resonant level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I noticed that, in fact, in my dream states, I only had a limited experiences with the DMT, but since then, my dream states have changed.
Yes.
One such was actually yesterday when I arrived here. I took a little nap, and in my dream, I had a crazy Serbian chiropractor stick something in my face and said, "This will check your age." And
yes.
it blew air in my face, and I woke up gasping. And
Yes.
sort of the odd thing was, I looked at myself in the mirror, and
Yes.
I appeared to be younger.
Yes. This is actually what you call a memory of something that has already occurred. It's just that you're now at a place where it's all right for you to remember it and all right for you to create the effect that goes along with the recognition of that particular interaction. Because time, as we say, while it is a real experience, is still nonetheless mechanically an illusion. And therefore, how you see yourself will be how you define yourself. And if you have now been defined differently by recalling that particular experience, then you will see yourself and perceive yourself differently as well. And so will others.
Thank you.
Greetings, Bashar.
And you good day.
My name is Preston Nichols.
If you insist.
Yep. Author of the Montauk Project.
Speak up and be bold.
I got a question. What happened to Tabor? T-A-B-O-R. Can you tune in on that, sir?
That particular nomenclature is not identified in the vocabulary of the channel. Therefore, there is no translation on our side. You see, I'm not speaking your language. I'm simply sending thoughts and using the channel as a translation device. And therefore, if there's no definition in the channel's vocabulary, it doesn't translate on this side. If you can provide a definition, it may be something we can tap into.
Okay, the function is in the supercomputer that runs this reality. It's one of the executive programs. And on the 23rd of March, it disappeared. I can only find fragments of it. Does this give you any more information, sir?
One moment. We perceive that portions of it were shifted to a parallel reality, but portions remained.
Okay, that would fit what I'm seeing.
Does that help you?
Yeah, okay, you're saying I have to look in other parallel realities for the rest of this intelligence.
In that sense, if you shift your vibration to the concept of that intelligence, it may pull you into the parallel reality in which the majority of it exists.
Yeah, because this intelligence has been very important to my work.
Then
And
perhaps
right-
it is, in a sense, luring you like a carrot or a magnet into another frequency.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
I just got my question answered, so I will switch. From where you're at, could you check? I have just worked out the mathematics of universes, and could you check and see how close I'm on it?
Mathematics of universes.
Yes.
Well, first of all, our civilization doesn't necessarily handle mathematics exactly the same way that yours does.
Don't worry, I don't either.
All right. We will give you our understanding of the idea of what you might call the geometry of universes.
You're
if you
right,
wish.
it is geometries.
Yes. Our expression would be what we call the prime radiant. This idea can be explained by analogy by the following illustration. Understanding, of course, that this is simply an analogous illustration.
If you could give me a picture, I'll look at it.
The picture is this. Imagine a completely infinite, empty, black void. Have you got that?
Easy.
Now, imagine a single subatomic particle in the void, and that's all there is.
Okay.
Have you got that?
No problem.
All right. Now, because there is nothing else but this single subatomic particle, no laws apply to it. If it wants to, it can move at infinite speed. Therefore, you will understand that if it can move at infinite speed, it can be anywhere and in fact can be everywhere within the entirety of the infinite void all at once. So if it traces a certain geometric crystalline-like pattern overlapping its own path again and again and again in certain ways, where it overlaps the least will be what you consider to be empty space. Where it overlaps the most will be the densification of matter. But the idea is that this creates all parallel realities, all time frames, all dimensions of experience. This one single particle appears next to itself so quickly, you think it's two particles, you think it's three particles, you think it's 4, 5, 6, a billion, a trillion, a quadrillion particles, but it's all the same particle. Every single one of you, every single one of us, every single star, every single planet, every single chair, every single tree is made of literally not the same kind of particle, literally the same one particle.
Okay. That's
In the ultimate time-sharing event.
Okay. Because you don't have to share time.
This transmission with the following ideas. We understand that the subject, the topic at hand, as you say, is the concept of time travel and other worlds. And we would like to begin this transmission with a question. But first, the statement. Many of you now begin to understand, metaphysically and also even scientifically, that time, in a sense, is an illusion. So the question is, if time is an illusion, isn't time travel an illusion as well? The answer, in sense, is yes, it is. Now, you must understand there is a difference between experience and the actual structure of existence. Because the structure of existence is one thing. But you can create certain kinds of experiences, perspectives, of that structure, points of view of that structure that can give you the experience that something is happening, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's actually mechanically what's happening according to the structure, even though the experience itself is very real to you when you're having it. So let us explain this concept. The idea is now, and again, your scientists are beginning to understand this, is that everything exists here and now. Everything really is the same moment. There is only one moment in creation. And what you call different moments is really the same moment from different points of view. You have created an experience you call linear space-time, but that doesn't actually mean things actually happen one after another. Let us give you a little bit of an analogy for how the reality is actually structured. We often use analogies of the technologies you have on your planet to make the illustration something that you can relate to. So in this instance, we will utilize the very popular analogies on your planet of television and film. You understand that if you're watching a program on your television set, and you are on one of your channels, for example, channel 2, you know that if you change the channel from 2 to 4 and are now seeing a different program, it does not mean that the program on channel 2 no longer exists. It still exists at the same time. It is still accessible if you decide to change the channel back. And both programs are simultaneously being broadcast. But you only perceive the one that your channel is tuned to, because that's a particular frequency and that reality is representative of that frequency. Likewise, the idea of film is that even though you perceive the story unfolding from moment to moment to moment, and the frames of film are proceeding through the projector one frame after another, if you are actually the projectionist, you know that you can look at all the frames at the same time. They all exist at once. You can stretch out the film strip and see dozens of frames simultaneously. But you know that the illusion of one frame, one moment coming after another is created when you flow that film strip through the projector and project it onto the screen to create the illusion of movement and change. This is actually, in a sense, how physical reality works. It's how it's actually structured. The idea really is to begin with the question, what actually is time? So let us address the idea of what time is to begin with, so that we can then, after that explanation, further address the concept that you experience as time travel. What is time? Good question. Thank you. I'll answer that. Understand, as we have just explained, the idea of the different frames on a film strip. One frame exists completely independently of another. Likewise, the idea of physical reality, space-time experience, is the product of your consciousness shifting from one parallel reality to another, and another, and another, and another, like a projector light shining through frames of film, but your consciousness skips and shifts through those independent parallel reality frames literally billions of times per second. By shifting from one frame to another, one parallel reality to another, billions of times per second, you create the effect, the side effect, the experience and illusion of change, movement, time. Because each frame, just like on the film strip, each parallel reality, just like a frame, has no time, no movement, timeless, frozen snapshot. This is one parallel reality. This is another parallel reality in total. This is another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another. You are literally shifting your consciousness through billions of frozen snapshots to create the illusion of movement and change, and that side effect is called time. Therefore, because all parallel realities, all frames exist at once, when you experience the idea called time travel, which in a sense you're doing all the time anyway by shifting from one parallel reality to another, billions of times a second. You're already time traveling. But the idea is that you are shifting to another parallel reality that is completely independent of the parallel reality moment you may have experienced a moment ago. Let's run over this again. The idea in your classic science fiction works is that when you step into your so-called time machine and you go to the so-called past or the so-called future, which again, from our perspective, actually simultaneously coexist with what you call the present, the idea is that you're not actually stepping into your own past or your own future. You are actually simply experiencing another parallel reality simultaneously coexistent with your own that simply happens to be at a place in its history that to you appears to be the future, or to you appears to be the past. But it's not your past. It's not your future. You weren't there. You were in another parallel reality past, another parallel reality future. But you have slipped over to one that seems so similar to what you experienced in your parallel reality past that you think it's the same one, and in fact, it is not. Therefore, there can actually be no such thing as the so-called grandfather paradox. Is there anyone who is not familiar with that idea of the grandfather paradox? All right. So the idea, as your scientists have proposed it, is the concept that if you are born from your father, from your grandfather in a lineage, and you step into a time machine and go back and murder your grandfather, in classic science fiction time travel, that would mean that your father and you would never have been born, so how could you have gone back into the past and killed anyone? That's the grandfather paradox. But what we are saying is that because it's not actually your past, if you should do this, you are actually going into a parallel reality and killing the grandfather of another version of you, so you will not cease to exist. You will only prevent that version of you in that parallel reality time stream from ever being born, but it will have nothing to do with you whatsoever. Because look at it from the point of view of snapshots, literal photographs, because that's what a parallel reality is, a frozen, timeless snapshot. If you take a photo of your family without you in it, because you're behind the camera, then you will understand that you have never been in that photo. You will never be in that photo. That's the photo that's there. It's a photo of your family without you. Now, if you suddenly time travel to another parallel reality and stand in that photograph, it is a completely different photograph. There is now the photograph without you and the photograph with you. And those two photographs coexist side by side simultaneously as their own independent parallel realities. Time travel is never to your own timeline because you were there and they were not, or they were there and you were not, and that photograph will never alter, ever. So, the idea thus then is that when you perfect the technology that will allow you to slip in and out between parallel realities, you can explore all sorts of parallel realities that are so similar to the reality time stream that you experienced in your past that likely you will not be able to really tell the difference, and likely you can also glean a lot from it. Now, of course, there are parallel realities that are very different from what you experienced in your particular parallel reality stream. So it really just depends when you time travel on the degree of difference that you create between the parallel reality you're familiar with and the one that you're going to, or the degree of similarity as to whether or not there's a high degree of relevance in that parallel reality to your parallel reality. So you can learn many things that you may wish to learn about your so-called past by choosing a parallel reality that's so similar that you won't notice any difference, and then you can learn things about that. Or you can shift to a parallel reality that's so different it bears no relation or relevance to your history at all. It's up to you to choose to learn how to dial in the appropriate frequency, just again like changing channels on your television to different programs, as to whether the next program you watch is very similar to the one you were watching before, or so different that they have absolutely no relationship between them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So, the idea, of course, now is that this whole transmission is labeled time, travel, and other worlds. Well, I suppose we will simply fulfill the other worlds portion of that title. We are, in that sense, as has been announced, the idea of a hybrid race that was created as an offshoot between the idea of the genetic blending of Earth human and other species, one of which you call the gray. We are, in that sense, what you might call an artificial race. The idea, however, is that we were given a head start. We were put on a planet that, in a sense, was engineered for us. We thus then have an evolution that started in some senses ahead of yours, didn't necessarily have to go through a lot of the same things that you went through in your parallel reality. But we are genetically related, and so in that sense, we are family. So thus then, we are grateful to you as our ancestors, in that sense, for bringing us into fruition, bringing us into creation. And in return for the gift that you have given us of our creation and our life, and being that we are all family, I ask now in return, what way may we be of service to you in the examination and exploration of your questions and answers?
Greetings, Bashar.
And to you, good day. Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to say.
Greetings, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Since we have this understanding already that there's no such thing as time.
No. Didn't say that. There is such a thing as the experience of time.
Let me put it this way.
Yes.
There is no such thing as past or future.
Not really.
Therefore, all time as we know it is existing in the present simultaneously.
All things exist at once.
Correct.
Separated in a sense by frequencies that you call different time frames, but all coexist holographically at once, yes.
Therefore, we can change our one version of our past
in
in the present.
Yes, you do that all the time.
And we're doing that constantly.
The past does not create the present. The present creates the past.
Therefore,
the idea is that when you change, as we said, you're shifting billions of times per second, you are literally becoming a new person every single moment that you change. Literally, not metaphorically, literally. And if you are literally a new person, then that means that the version of you that is experiencing yourself as a new person in linear space-time with the concepts of future and past means that as soon as you become a new person, you literally have a new past, a new future, a new history. Yes, totally. And therefore, however it is you define yourself in the present will determine actually, literally, how your so-called past affects you or doesn't. Because if you are truly, literally understanding that you are a new person, a different person than was here a moment ago, then you will understand that it's not just about the idea that you no longer are affected by things in the past, it's that you never had those experiences.
Where do you see, where does your hopes and where do you think humanity will be in the year 2100, out of curiosity? And has Bashar ever spoken about what the potential of that time period would be for us?
Well, yes, it's the beginning of what he's saying. The evolutionary path for humanity is what he calls evolving into the sixth hybrid race, which is going to expand into the galaxy in a certain way. And we're going to become other civilizations, UFOs, eventually. We're going to be that are going to help other civilizations up the ladder in the same way that these civilizations that we're dealing with are helping us up the ladder. So it's really about becoming members of a galactic society, a galactic family. And it's really about letting ourselves change in ways that give us more abilities. The hybrid beings are going to be coming to live among us. The hybrid children are going to be coming to live among us. There will eventually be blending. And we will be coming, well, as Bashar kind of puts it, will actually finally becoming fully human, because we're not fully human yet. So he sees that as the true evolutionary result of us opening up to accept more of who and what we are, connecting to our spiritual selves, bringing more of our souls through the physical experience of our lives, through our physical avatars, and really being star beings, really owning what and who we are. And that's going to really just change everything on the earth that we decide to go to, if that's the direction we decide to go. Again, there will be those that don't. But for those that do, I think it will be expanding beyond what we can imagine right now, because there are so many things we're just unaware of that are going on out in the cosmos that we can become a part of. You know, we'll have unlimited resources. There will be no lack of anything. You know, the whole science fiction scenario of, you know, aliens coming to Earth to get our minerals and our resources and stuff like that. There are so many things out there. It's so abundant out there. They have no lack of anything, and no lack of an ability to get the resources that they need. They certainly don't need this planet to get that. What they need this planet for, and how Earth is so important to them, is what's going on the planet. The idea of how we're facing our challenges, how we're transforming things, the different stories that are being played out here, the effect that the conclusion of those stories have on the cosmos. It's our agreement to be the souls that experience these things and finish these stories that is really the important step to all of these alien civilizations. It's our discovery of our self-empowerment through these incredibly limiting challenges. This is why Bashar has for a long time called us the masters of limitation, because for a while we have been the masters of creating limitation. But when he then says, but what you're doing is learning to become the masters of limitation, where you can overcome those limitations, transform those limitations. And this is a challenging school. But the fact that we can overcome the limitations we put on ourselves is something that other civilizations are also learning from. Because if we can overcome these limitations, these incredible dark limitations, negative limitations, fear-based limitations, as deeply as we've created them and still overcome them, well, civilizations that may not be as steeped in those limitations can look at us and go, well, gosh, if they can do it, we can do it, because we're not as limited as they are, and yet they can still overcome those limitations. So we're a good lesson for a lot of civilizations that are looking to us to be the ones that show this is how you do it. This is how you lose yourself and find yourself again.